Good things come to those who wait, and in the case of Battlefield 5, it looks like we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer now. Today, DICE General Manager Oscar Gabrielson announced via a blog post on the Battlefield website that went live about an hour ago that the launch of Battlefield 5 is being delayed by just over a month, to November 20th. I'll give you my opinion right now. I think this is a good move from the DICE development team. This game is clearly an ambitious project, so many features coming to this game that weren't in the previous title in the franchise, and the team were racing to finish things before the middle of October, and a few features appear to have fallen victim to that previous time limit. This launch delay to November 20th might give DICE more room to finish up certain important features and ensure a smooth launch as well. Not to mention, they've now taken themselves out of the Call of Duty Red Dead Redemption 2 sandwich that they put themselves in when they revealed the game back in May. That might work in their favour as well. This delay in launch, however, doesn't appear to be affecting the Battlefield 5 open beta. This is still scheduled to go up to the public on September the 6th, and 2 days earlier on September the 4th if you've pre-ordered the game, which is a good thing in my opinion. The further away the beta is from the official launch of the game, the more time the development team has to potentially implement changes, add fixes, and implement new features that are still being worked on behind the scenes. And it allows them to take feedback directly from the beta, from the community, and implement that into their launch version of the game. When you look back at previous Battlefield titles, it's easy to see that sometimes feedback from betas just isn't implemented at launch because there simply isn't enough time to turn something like that around, with the beta and the launch being so close together. Now with Battlefield 5, we've got nearly 2 months between the beta and the launch of the game. That's actually a significant chunk of time when it comes to playing video games and video game development as well. Look how far the game came from closed alpha to open beta. Things really can move quickly in the gaming industry. Looking at the reaction to this news on social media, I've got to say, most people seem to be quite happy that the game is being delayed, citing the likelihood of a smoother launch and the game not being sandwiched between those other AAA titles, which I think baffled a lot of people even before this delay. It just didn't make sense for Battlefield 5 to come out in the middle of two of its biggest competitors in 2018. If we look a little bit deeper though, there are some mentions that we can take away from developers on social media today. David Serland, who is a lead developer on Battlefield 5, he replied to a comment potentially confirming an extension of the open beta because of this launch delay, allowing for even more feedback to be captured from the community. Now, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to having the beta extended. You're not going to catch me telling DICE to take the beta down. I want to be playing this game as absolutely much as possible, but if it allows the development team to get more feedback on different features, potentially even roll out a patch during the beta to change things along the way, that might be a possibility. If something like that can happen, then yeah, let's do it. Extend the beta, have it for as long as you like, as long as you don't make it too long and it gets too close to launch, and then you can't implement the changes. You don't want that issue. Now, I did mention at the start of this video the potential for this delay to have something to do with a couple of features being, reclassified in the last few days as post-launch offerings. Both vehicle customization in the multiplayer and the co-op section of Battlefield 5 that's been advertised as part of the marketing campaign were recently adjusted via blog posts to be coming after the launch of the game. And understandably, that hasn't gone down too well with the community. We were expecting these things to be in the launch for us to use on day one. Now, it could simply be that these two features were always planned as post-launch items for Battlefield 5. They were going to be added as part of the live service, part of the Tides of War, and would come in as updates that we can get excited about further down the line, as they would be at that point brand new features. But that then wasn't communicated effectively during the marketing campaign, and their reclassification has only been very recent. It's been buried in 2 separate locations on the Battlefield website, and you had to actually go looking for these things. They weren't broadcast as sort of an update to the community. That leads me to believe these items simply weren't going to be ready for launch, and they were quietly pushed backwards. However, the entire game has now been pushed back a whole month, and if there was ever a time to get those 2 features into the now later launch date, this would be it. We've also not really heard much about the soldier dragging feature all that much either since the reveal of the game, other than the fact that it was stated to not be in the Gamescom build, and of course I'm showing you Gamescom gameplay here, it's simply not there. That could be another thing the DICE team is now working on to have ready for November 20th. If we actually go and read the blog, the explanation for the delay of Battlefield 5's launch is devoid of any real information other than some words about polishing features and ensuring a smooth launch. That's great to tell the community, but honestly, I would have loved a few specific details in there. Something to really help us understand where the development team is actually at with the project, or even giving us a solid statement on what will be coming for the launch and what is coming as part of the live service. Overall, I think it's great to delay the game, but as with most of the marketing for Battlefield 5, they haven't really gone into enough detail to really explain why they're doing something. If you look back in the marketing campaign, so many things have been mentioned and not explained. Here, it's been mentioned that the game has been delayed and there are a few things they're going to work on, but nothing very specific. So again, I'm kind of left wondering what it really is that they're going to be working on for the extra month they've now given themselves. I think the last thing that we as a community really want, and DICE as a development team really want, is another launch like Battlefield 4, where the game was so buggy that servers would just randomly crash, and the stability of the game on your console or your PC was so shaky that it took a good few months for the DICE team to really iron out those issues before the game would run smoothly at all. Battlefield 5 needs all the help that it can get after perhaps one of the worst marketing campaigns I've ever seen that sets some really incorrect expectations with gamers. And so if DICE can produce a smooth launch with plenty of features for us to play with on day one, then I think this delay is a win for everybody interested in the game, both the development team, EA, and the community. And one last thing here, I really do now think that this delay is going to have a big impact on the sales performance of the game when it comes to launch day. I mentioned above about the game, if it were releasing in October, I think the official previous launch date was October 19th, being sandwiched right in between Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2, that wasn't going to be a good thing for Battlefield 5. Even if you liked the game, you were still going to have to make the choice between potentially 3 different AAA titles. Some people can afford to buy 3 AAA titles in 1 month, but not everybody can, and most people would be making a choice between one of those 3 games. That is now not the case. The game will now release closer to Fallout 76, but I don't really see that as a competitor to Battlefield 5. They really are quite distinctly different game titles. Not being in that AAA sandwich not only gives Battlefield 5 more time to be finished up in terms of development, but it also gives it breathing room in a very busy run-up to the holiday season, pretty much where everybody buys their video games for the next few months. Not releasing in the same month to Call of Duty means more people might be open to buying both games, rather than picking one because they don't want to spend $120 in 1 month, and if you throw Red Dead Redemption into the equation, you could be spending $180 in 1 month on 3 AAA games. That's no longer the case. Battlefield 5 is a month later, and maybe you can split the cost of all the games that you want to play this holiday season. So then, it looks like we're going to have to wait a month longer for the next Battlefield title, but the open beta is likely to be extended, if that tweet from David Serlin can be believed, which will give us something to play in September, and I sincerely hope, I really do hope, in October, that we get some good, transparent communication from the development team about what they're actually working on to have ready for that new November 20th launch day. Make sure you leave any of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments section today. Overall, the community seems to be reacting quite positively to this, but I have seen a few negative comments as well, so make sure you leave your opinions down below in the comments. Thank you very much for watching today, and until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.